Okay, YouTube, in this video we're going to basically cover how to find the inverse of a matrix with a calculator. So recall first of all that to find the inverse of a matrix, it has to be a square matrix. Only square matrices have inverses, and also let's keep in mind that not all matrices, not all square matrices have inverses, and we saw an example of this in the last video where we had an undefined inverse matrix. So when we talk about finding these in a calculator, it has to be a square matrix. So let's look at the steps that we're going to take in order to find this inverse matrix of, say, this 3 by 3 that we have right here. So in terms of the calculator, go ahead and turn your calculator on. And what you want to do is input this matrix in for matrix A. And so I'll need to go to my matrix menu here, and we'll go over to Edit, and we'll call this some 3 by 3 matrix, 3 rows, 3 columns. And we have here 1, 2, 2, 3, 7, 9. And then I have -1, -4, and -7. Okay, so now as a matter of necessity we need to quit out of this menu, but now if I do this, if I go into my matrix menu and I just pull out A, which is this square 3 by 3 matrix, and we hit this x to the -1 key, and I hit enter, this looks like you would write A inverse, and as a matter of fact this is indeed A inverse here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of try to slide this in here. If I can get my calculator off on the side here, we can write this in. But basically we would say if this is the matrix A right here, A, then we just discovered that its inverse matrix is -13, 6, 4, 12, -5, -3, -5, 2, and 1. And one thing that I'd like to show here is that A times A inverse actually comes out to be the identity matrix. So one thing we'll do is we'll type in the matrix A times now A inverse. So we say A with our inverse key, x to -1. What we see is we get this 3 by 3 identity matrix right here, which should happen. So just know that you can find the inverse of a square matrix on your calculator, and it has to be a square matrix. So the last thing I want to do in this video very quickly is this. In the last problem that we did here, this example, we discovered that there were matrices that didn't have inverses. And what I want to do is look at, well, what would that look like on a calculator? So what I've got is from that last example, let me go back over there. From that last example, I have matrix C typed in here, which was this original matrix 1, -2, -4, 8. If I go into my matrix menu here, you can see that I have this matrix into my calculator. So because it has no inverse, when we retype this here, if I type in C and I hit my inverse key, you'll notice that it says error singular matrix. And so if you ever get something that says error singular matrix, you would just say, well, it has no inverse. Cheers.